Hey guys, welcome to Careers Uncorked. This is your co-host Sid.
And this is your co-host Sharfuz.
At Careers Uncorked, we host some amazing guests and hear their incredible stories.
And we're super excited to have you join us today.
Hey guys, welcome to Careers Uncorked. This is your co-host Sid.
And this is our co-host Sharfuz. And Sid, we have another exciting Careers Uncooked episode happening today, man. Dude, how's your Saturday going so far?
Saturday is going great. I'm sitting out in the patio, enjoying the weather. And it's a weird Saturday, you know, because Sharfuz and I are closer than ever.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about that, but yeah, yeah, dude. So I'm actually I'm visiting Colorado, dude. I'm actually in Colorado.
No way. I'm actually in the patio in the same house that you are in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the echo we could probably hear each other, but yeah, no, we're having our Colorado trip, and it's been super exciting, and there'll be a lot more information about that throughout the session. But Sid, to start off with, dude, what is Careers Uncorked, to be honest, at the end of the day?
Careers Uncorked is an awesome place where Sharfuz and I get together and talk to some amazing people. Sometimes from home, sometimes from Denver, Colorado. Wherever we are, we just get on a call and just talk to some amazing people.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, Sid. Yeah, it's like no matter where we are in our own home or wherever we go, these are some amazing stories that we capture of some incredible people, and we have a lot of amazing fun doing it. And yeah, sometimes we get together virtually, sometimes we get together in the same house. Yeah, dude, definitely super excited. But Sid, dude, I've been meaning to ask you about your job recently, and I've been hearing a lot about Salesforce. But like, you've been working at Salesforce stuff for a while, right?
I have, yeah. So I've been doing consulting, and I've been working in a lot of consulting firms doing Salesforce consulting. So it's sort of the other side of what Salesforce does is it provides software, but then major companies need to implement it. So that's where consulting firms come in. So I'm fairly familiar with overall Salesforce, and I'm sure Manan and I will definitely bond on that because I have a couple of certifications that I'm really curious to hear Manan's perspective on, as well as hear his perspective of working at Salesforce. Funny story, actually, Sharfuz and I were downtown in Denver yesterday, and we saw a Salesforce tower. Sharfuz was standing there taking pictures for the session, and he was like, "Whoa! Like this is like the only place that I've seen so many towers, apart from J.P. Morgan Chase. They also have a lot of towers, but Salesforce is right up there too."
Yeah, and like I think it's like the universe knew that this weekend we'll have someone from Salesforce, and we just saw the tower right there, you know.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
But dude, I'm super excited to hear about about Salesforce, and I see how you flexed about the certifications there. But hey, dude, why don't we get Manan to the front stage and let's kick this off?
Most definitely. All right. Hey Manan, how's it going?
Hey guys, going well. How are you guys?
We're doing great, man. This is awesome. So we're literally Colorado is amazing. Weather's amazing. Way better than Texas. Texas is super hot. So I don't know what I'm doing there. But we're really interested in sort of hearing about you. So we have a few members in the audience here. So why don't you tell us a little about your background and then we can get it kicked off?
Sure. So how far back do you want me to go?
Let's start from childhood, like when the first day you remember.
Yeah. What's your oldest memory, Manan?
There's so many. Let's have a whole session on just that.
Right? No, but just tell us a little about like your background in college, what you did, and what you're doing right now.
Yeah. So college, I majored in computer science, graduated with UCID in 2018. Since then, I've been working at Salesforce pretty much for the last almost 2 years. It's going to be 2 years in a few weeks, so that's exciting. 2-year anniversary really awesome. Coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so yeah, I came originally from India, came to University of Rochester, studied computer science, studied economics, dabbled in a few other things here and there. Did a bit of some psych courses, some dance courses, other stuff here and there, and then got to do a bunch of incredible internships in different fields, which was really great, and tried to make the most of those experiences, and finally ended up at Salesforce, where I've been a software engineer. I was initially doing mostly backend, and now I'm sort of more focused on UI. We've been more focused on UI for the last year and a half, now getting back into backend. So pretty much full stack. Yeah, that's kind of a summary. Yeah.
Very cool, Manan. So I think what we're really excited to start off with is your early college life. So Sharfuz, you have any first questions for Manan in terms of early college life?
Yeah, no, Sid, absolutely. Yeah, Manan, I also went to UFR, man. That's really cool. Good place. Really, really great place, man. Same school. But
I
dude,
don't
what were
know.
you like some of your what are some of your significant experiences now that you look back in college? You know, what stands out to you?
Oh, wow. Lots. I think
It's been a while, huh?
there's just so many. It's hard to pick.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say computer science. That was my major, and that was great. And I think that was the traditional. I knew that coming in that would be my major, and that was the path that I just followed. But the other things that I stumbled onto, which were the unexpected things at the university that I didn't plan for, those turned out to be very life changing, as you might say, in ways that I may not be able to pinpoint. So, for example, I'd start with economics. I think I fell in love with economics. I had never studied economics before U of R, and I
Yeah,
took a class, and then it opened up a whole new way of thinking for me, a whole new world for me. And I don't use it in my daily life at work, but it's
yeah,
such a great skill such a great lens to view the world with. Like I can read, The Economist or some finance news articles and actually understand stuff, and then even it applies to your daily life in so many ways. And
yeah.
I definitely want to do something with it in the future, and that's just one world which opened up to me just by taking one economics class, and then I just kept on taking one every semester. And that was fantastic. And then so many of the incredible people that I met throughout the 4 years. And I think third year, my junior year, a really transformational experience was doing TEDx, organizing TEDx, starting that from scratch and taking the whole conference. And I think that just whole experience of leading a team and building something that lasts, that was full of challenges, but I learned so much. And
Yeah.
I think that would be another highlight experience for me. But yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really liked, and also I'm an economics major myself, and definitely when you talk about some of the concepts that applies, like that could apply. I think like a lot of it applies to daily life, like just demand and supply. Then the golden rule. I don't know. I think it was Rizzo's class, right? Which
Yeah.
you definitely took that. What's the golden
Yes.
rule and the silver rule?
Yes.
And the sunk cost.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That comes up every time in real life.
Dude, I use sunk cost all the time. So I think Sid, you remember like yesterday we went for dinner and we got this burger and I got
Oh,
this
yeah.
really huge burger, right? And I
Yeah.
paid a lot of money for it. I was super excited about it. And when I started eating it, I realized I don't want to eat this anymore because it's so big. And then I realized I
Oh.
already paid for it. So I think I'm gaining more utility by not eating it than eating it because I cannot get that money back, right?
Oh, yeah. So it's a sunk
There it
cost.
is. That's
That's
some
a
fallacy.
yeah, it's a sunk cost fallacy because I cannot get that because my utility doesn't increase if I eat it anymore, and I can't get that money back. So it's just sunk cost.
All right. This is
You
awesome. This is
explained it
our
very
this is
well.
our intro to
You should make
this is
a
our intro to econ.
yeah.
He's starting to do econ. I don't know why I started talking about burgers and econ and sunk cost. Sorry, but I think Manan, that's great. I love how TEDx is also another amazing initiative, and that's lasting. I know some of the people who's been running it now, Afnan, great. Like you really left like a whole group there. So I'm curious about so what class has made a difference for you in college overall? And I think a little bit more about computer science, maybe if you want to talk about some classes that really helped you in your internship.
Sure.
That could be a good reference for especially students who are tuning in.
Sure. So this may be an unpopular opinion, but computer science, I think there are a bunch of classes in the major. I'm sure if you then said you work on this, there's a huge list, so many electives. You get into AI, you get into computer organization, you get into architecture, you're writing code and assembly. There's so much stuff. But really, I feel if you're looking from what will I use if I get a job as a software engineer, I think for me, it comes down to maybe three core classes.
Okay.
And after that, it's just practice of coding and practice of implementing those concepts.
Right.
Once you know those, and so those three are, one is programming. You have to know how to code. That's basic.
Yeah.
That's for us, it was computer science 171, basics of Java, or just being able to write code in Java or Python or whatever.
Yeah.
Next is data structures and algorithms, where you are introduced to your linked lists and trees and hash maps and all the data structures, basically. It's more focused on data structures. And then the third would be algorithms design and analysis. That's what the class was called for us. But it's essentially giving an overview of all the algorithms that exist in terms of problem solving, right? So you have your graph algorithms, your Floyd-Warshall, your Dijkstra, finding the shortest path, and all those kinds of stuff. Like, for example, Dijkstra is a combination of Dijkstra and Floyd-Warshall is what Google Maps uses to get you to find directions to your destination. And so all of those algorithms have various real-life applications, which you probably don't see immediately, but you will see it as you go along in your computer science career. So yeah, I think those three are the most fundamental ones. And after that, you take AI, you take computer organization, you take computational theory, whatever else. From the perspective of just becoming a software engineer, everything else you can pretty much learn on your own after that. That's my view. And I mean, of course, the classes helped, and of course, the professors were great, and taking those classes was hugely beneficial. But those three are the really core ones that you want to master first. Once you've got that down, once you know how to code, once you know your data structures and algorithms, then you can do everything else. And I think pretty much on your own, at least in my opinion, just by learning and doing side projects and practicing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think we took 171, 172. So remember our data structures?
I took it a couple of times.
Yeah. No, he said like the class so much he did it twice, I think.
Well, that's the real unpopular opinion.
Yeah, no, I think they're definitely helpful. I did not take 280, right? That was 280, the data, the other one that you talk about. Yeah.
Yes, I forget which one 280 was. No,
the
class is 282.
282, yeah,
Yes.
That's what I heard it's a
that
great
was
class.
a really fun class. Yeah, that's really hard too. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That you have to spend several hours every week just racking your brain trying to find solutions.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, and hopefully people do.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome to hear, and I hope aspiring students tuning in was able to catch that. And Manan, I think I also want to quickly ask you that. So you started the TEDx. It was the first you initiated the whole thing happening, and I remember watching you like lead the whole organization behind the first TEDx that happened. So me, Sid, and all our other guests, we recurringly talk about how important engagement, campus involvement is on your job, on your career. So I would love to hear your experience with that, and why do you think it's valuable, even if you're even just focused as a software engineer itself. Why are some of these leadership experiences important in college, and why should people do it? What's your take on this?
Yeah. So I can actually talk a bit about how being a software engineer and where the leadership and aspect comes into it. So yes, when you start off as a software engineer at the associate level, or even just the entry level, whatever the position is, you're not doing much leadership, frankly, right? Your job, the expectation from you is simply to just get the work that you're assigned done, maybe with a little bit of help. That's the initial first year expectation. But once you start growing, you are kind of expected to now you're able to do things on your own. And then now you're also expected to, on top of that, be able to communicate technical designs. That becomes an important aspect. Be able to communicate any problems that you're running into. That's actually a huge skill. So a lot of times there's new code bases, new languages, new libraries with every software engineering job. The code that you learned in college won't come in handy. The skills that you learned will. And there's a difference there.
That's good.
So you have to learn, and you'll have questions. And I think in my first 6 months, the biggest learning is how do you ask questions? And that's as much communication and people skills as it is technical skills. The technical bit is that, okay, you look at the code, you try to understand it yourself, you do your best to be able to figure out the answers yourself. But oftentimes you cannot, and you have to ask questions. And how do you ask? How do you frame it? Because there's so much information that you just don't know. There's so much complexity, and you just don't understand it. And being able to frame that, especially maybe you'll ask someone on your team, maybe they don't know, maybe you have to ask other teams.
Yeah.
So being able to start that communication line and say, hey, this is the team I work for, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, and this is the issue I'm running into. And being able to pinpoint that and do that in a manner that, well, obviously basic stuff, you have to be polite and clear, but also succinct. I think that's hugely important. And I think that's just something you learn by having led a group. That's one of those skills, being able to communicate clearly and succinctly. And you learn on the job if you haven't learned it before. That's just how it goes. And if you don't, then that will become a blocker for you, as they say, or a pain point. That will become part of your feedback. And I've seen some software engineers, if they don't have that skill, then they'll take one page to communicate something that could be said in one line, and that's a flaw. That's a problem, and that comes in the way of your ability to figure stuff out and your ability to get your answers quickly. So that's the communication aspect of it. And I think any leadership experience that you have in college, for me it was TEDx. That just really helps your communication skills. Because communication skill is not simply me being able to talk to you and not fumble or whatever. It's also, how do I get my message across? And how do I make sure that you have received the message that I'm trying to send and not something else? And also, in work settings, it can often also mean, how do I get it across? Sometimes you have to do it in the least words possible, especially with technical stuff, right? You're not trying to persuade anyone. Flowery language and rhetoric is not going to help. You just have to get the exact thing across. And the person on the other side would really appreciate if you do it in one line and they know exactly what you're talking about, as opposed to writing one paragraph and they're still confused if they don't know what you're talking about.
Very, very true.
And I think, if you lead a team over time, especially, there's something that you learn because you want to, get your point across, and as a leader, especially, you have to influence people. You're always just dealing with communication. That's a big part of it, and this is just a skill that you build up, and that's TEDx was one of those things that did it for me. There were a few other experiences, be it group projects and whatnot.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think one thing that I really liked of that conversation was you mentioned that you have to communicate to people in a way that they understand you. I think something also along those lines is to make sure that you know your audience, because there's a wide range of people that you communicate with, right? So part of my job is also communicating with developers and communicating with people on the business side. So you can't really speak the same language to both the people, because one audience would not understand what the other audience would. So that's very, very important to sort of make sure that you're valuing people's time, as well as communicating your message in a way that they would understand. So that's really awesome.
Absolutely. In fact, I just remembered I had attended this talk by a PM last September in New York.
Yeah.
And this was precisely the topic that how do you, as a product manager, how do you talk to different stakeholders? Especially as a product manager, you are talking to engineers, you're talking to business, you're talking to marketing, and you're talking to design. And you have one goal, but everyone else is coming from their own vantage point, their own perspectives, and they have their own goals. Like, sure, everyone wants to build a good product, but engineering cares more about tech debt and code quality, which business doesn't care about at all.
Yeah.
So just you want the same thing done, but you have to communicate it so differently. That was the talk about. It was very important.
No, absolutely. I also share the similar PM interest. I definitely see that. That's so much important, and love how communication is such a big part of wherever you work in industry, I guess, at the end of the day. So like quickly, Manan, as we are talking about that, I'm curious to sort of get a overview of like, how was your college summers like? Like, just if you want to just walk us on the experiences that you did. And I know you have this significant experience at Watchers, so I want to hear a little bit about that experience as well.
Yes. Sorry, I will answer that. Before that, I just remembered I should backtrack from a previous answer a bit. I think I didn't finish my complete train of thought. So with software engineering, I want to finish this. You initially, of course, as I was saying, you just your first year, second year software engineer, your expectation is just that you'll do what's assigned, you'll be able to write code and give feedback and so on. But as you grow, and if you want to get promoted, and as you want to grow in your software engineering career, you start leading groups as well. You start leading groups of engineers. You start mentoring other engineers. You start, and you want to have impact outside of your immediate team. You start giving talks, technical talks. That's an important part. At least at Salesforce, I've seen, and I'm sure at other big companies as well. If you want to get to lead engineer level, there is an expectation that you are trying to have an impact, and often that impact means you are giving a talk on how do we improve the process of our engineering, how do we improve code quality. And so again, that's all coming down to leadership and communication. So yeah, if you're a software engineer, if you're starting out, sure, if you can write great code and you know your stuff, you'll get it. But if you want to grow, that leadership and communication aspect becomes more and more important. And this is something my manager has talked to me about as well. So yeah. Let's come back to the current question. Yes. My summers, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, on a high level. Yeah.
Sure. My freshman year summer, I think I didn't manage to get anything in the US. And so I just went back home and worked on a bunch of side projects. Sophomore year summer, I had decided I have to get a paid internship in the US. That was my goal. And I applied to more than 100 places. Not the best strategy, people. Don't listen to this. This is something I did. I learned from my mistakes. I think I was all that hustle mentality, which is great. But I'm just going to go for it. And I just applied and applied and applied. And at least at that time, we both know that University of Rochester didn't attract all the lucrative employers, especially for international students, because we want visa sponsorship and so on. And I think at that time we weren't getting as much access, at least as sophomores. So I was like, I'm going to try everything in the book. And I just applied and applied. And my logic was, if I apply to 100 places, I'll get one, which worked out. But it's not efficient. It's not streamlined. Don't do it that way. I learned the hard way. I applied and applied. I went to career fairs. I remember once in October or sophomore year, our career center was organizing a trip to Columbia, University in New York, to go to a career fair. You had to apply, and I applied, and they funded my trip. And I mean, you have to find your own place to stay, which I was able to do. And I went there, and I swear I went to that career fair dressed up in a suit, and I was looking for software engineering positions. Don't ever do that. That's the last time I did that. If you're interviewing for software engineering positions, go in a t-shirt, otherwise
you don't fit the bill. Yeah.
But little does a sophomore know at that time, at least. And then I just kept on applying, and I wouldn't hear back from so many of these places. And often were just automatic rejection emails. I'm pretty sure they weren't even looking at my resume.
Oh yeah.
They didn't even make it to the file. So and I think I didn't know what was wrong, and maybe I should have investigated and talked to more people about what's a better way of doing this. But at that time, I think I just didn't know anyone, and I thought I'll just keep applying. And so that's what I did. And so after 100 applications, I had an Excel sheet, but I was tracking this, by the way. So after 100 applications, more than 100 applications, got 4 interviews, and then finally 2 offers. One was from this financial services company, which was going to be in Pittsburgh, and the other one was Weight Watchers in New York. And I was like, my only decision point was, okay, this is New York, this is Pittsburgh. New York is more exciting. Let's go to New York. That's it.
Right.
Which turned out to be a great summer after that. So yeah.
So these applications that you applied to, was the career fair helpful at all to be able to attend in person?
Not really. I think I'd applied to Google, which happened through the University of Rochester career fair.
Okay.
Google was the one company that did come at that time, and we had access to. But I think I didn't make it to the interview process, or I don't know if I got an interview. I've interviewed with Google definitely my junior year. I don't think I interviewed sophomore year. But yeah. Okay. So,
got it.
Yeah, so I ended up at Weight Watchers in New York, which turned out to be a very exciting summer.
That's really awesome. So what was it like working at Weight Watchers over summer? What was that like?
It was great. And I think one of my goals through that internship was to figure out if this software engineering job is for me or not. I mean, I think that's as a college student, that is one of what your goals should be, and I think it really helps to be intentional about it, to go with that mindset that yes, I'm going to do my best and I'm going to have a great time, but also let me every now and then just reflect on what aspects do I like, what aspects do I don't like. So in fact, I remember I kept a journal, and every week I would write in that journal, this week, what aspects of my job I liked, what I didn't like, and so on.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be really helpful, just in terms of self-awareness and knowing where I want to go in future. But yeah, I think it was my first real software engineering job. I had some startup experience before, unpaid stuff, but this was like first time at a big company where there was a lot more structure and everything was streamlined and I was getting paid and all that. So yeah, this is my first entry into the world as how things really work in software engineering, and introduction to agile and all these stuff, which now I think we're familiar with.
The waterfall, right?
Yeah, all that. All that stuff.
Yeah, I think I saw this meme the other day that when people talk about waterfall, there's a picture of a waterfall, and then people in software engineers talk about waterfall. There's like all this schematic diagram and like this Trello, this board, Kanban boards, and all that stuff.
Yeah. There's different methods. Ultimately trying to accomplish the same thing. I don't think I have a preference, but anyway, yeah, it was. But the other thing that happened, which was interesting, was that I really liked the Weight Watchers product, and I really came to appreciate it. And one thing that really motivated me was every month they would have these sessions on the top floor where they would get actual people who had used the Weight Watchers product and services and coaching, and actually become healthier and lost weight and accomplish their fitness goals. And they would come and talk, and sometimes it was in person, sometimes it was over video, and everyone would come and watch. And just seeing the impact that, wow, I'm contributing to someone feeling so much better about their health. And because there's so many issues that you learn, that people have body image issues, and you would hear people talk very honestly about that, and they'd opened up a whole world. And I was like, wow, I am part of something that is really impactful to people, and that was really powerful. And then what I started doing on the side, just on my own, was playing with the Weight Watchers app and seeing what the competitors are. And I would randomly ping my product manager, hey, I have an idea. Have you thought about this? And she'd be like, oh, this is cool. We'll see, or something of that sort. And I kept doing this. And then I also met with a bunch of product managers in the company, because the impression I got for the first time, this is like, as I said, my first entry into this world, is that my boss, the engineering manager or the senior engineers, they're not really contributing to ideas for the product. And of course, now I know how things work, but at that time I was like, why is this? Why don't they have? Why do they only care about the code and not about what they're building? And this is something that you see a lot, at least in the bigger companies, that the engineering manager or the software engineers would only care about the code and the code quality, and they'll never like, oh, this is a feature we should build out. And that's something that came naturally to me. I realized that I have some ideas on what we can build and what the competitors are doing and whatnot. So then I started meeting with these people called product managers, which I discovered at that time. This is a thing I didn't even know until then. And so I started talking to them and started giving them ideas, and I started doing research. It became like a weekly thing. I would just do my own research, go up to this PM who I had built a relationship with, and just show him my research. And then eventually he gave me like a side assignment. It wasn't even an assignment. It was like, it would be cool if you built a prototype for this and built a presentation. And I was like, sure, I'll do it this weekend. It's cool. That was 4th of July or something. And that went on. And and that went on. This is totally on the side. I have no expectations, nothing of that sort. I'm just doing it because I'm enjoying this and I'm getting to learn. And then I think my second last week of the internship, I actually did the whole presentation in front of this PM and 2-3 other people He just caught me off guard. He was like, "You'll show this to me," and then he just got 2 other people too who were like senior, and I did the presentation. It was around chatbots, which were big at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Summer 2016, yeah, and how you could leverage the voice platforms, Alexa, Google, and chatbots, and build products there. So I did that presentation, and this guy was like, "This is great. We'll look into this more. We'll chat more." And the next week, this is my last week of the internship.
Yeah.
This is on Thursday. Friday, I had my lunch with my manager and my team scheduled as have a farewell lunch. On Thursday, this PM comes to me and he's like, "Hey, let's get lunch today. I want to say goodbye. I won't be around tomorrow." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." And this is someone I've been meeting every week in recruiter.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm excited and I want to do that. And so he takes me out to lunch, and then he's like, "Would you like to come and work for?" We're eating lunch, okay? And would you like to come and work for me as a PM intern? And I'm like, "What?" I was so caught off guard, and I'm like, "Wow, this is great! Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity." Because I had enjoyed the whole process, and this guy was extremely smart. I had so much respect and admiration for him, and I loved what the stuff that I'd done with him. So I wanted to say wanted to say yes, but I was caught off guard and I was hesitant. And he's like, "This is the offer. This is I have the offer. I can have the offer letter to you by the end of the day. This is how much I'll pay you. This is how it's gonna work." And he had like laid everything out, planned everything. This is like almost, this is in my head. I'm like, this is so Godfather. He's just made me this, everything set out for me. He's planned this whole thing, caught me off guard. I didn't see this coming. And it's like, you have until the end of the day to tell me. And within, we finished lunch, and then I was like, yes. It wasn't okay. Like, yes, of course I'm doing it.
Oh, wow. That is awesome. That is so exciting. I mean, honestly, like, I think you've really shown us that you can do so much more than just your day-to-day job, and like learn other things, show interest, and then also secure another following summer internship.
I wasn't actually following summer, and that became a big thing. It was I decided to do it in the semester.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought I would take a semester off, but then I ended up doing like a part-time thing, and I would go to New York every now and then. And I got some credits for it as well, so I took less course load and managed through. But
that is so exciting, man. I think that's totally awesome. There's not too many people who do that, and I think it's just such a great way to sort of showcase your skills outside of just classes.
That's really OG, honestly. Like, you just really made your own thing there, and you just went above and beyond. I think everyone currently who are working somewhere, they should take this lesson that you could always go beyond, and you could also transfer internally. You could open more opportunities for yourself, just going above and beyond. So, dude, that's amazing.
I agree, and I think I was lucky. I had this person who he's become my mentor now, and I speak to him every now and then. And he was absolutely incredible, and he took the lead, and he saw something in me. Hopefully, that's why he did it. But yeah, I think just generally going above and beyond and following your interests really helps and opens doors.
That sounds so awesome. And I think just overall the company culture, like you explained it, with people coming in for talks and stuff, it just sounds so great. Speaking about amazing company culture, Salesforce has been ranked one of the best places to work consecutively for a number of years. So what's it like working at Salesforce? How amazing is the work culture? At least that's what we've heard.
No, that's a lie. No, I'm just kidding.
Give us the dirt, Manan. Tell us what's really going on there.
No. Generally, it's amazing. It's work culture is great. Like, I think everybody, the biggest thing I really appreciate is an atmosphere of trust. Everybody is transparent, and at least again, I'm not going. There is a huge company. I'm not going to speak to all departments and everyone, but at least among my interactions, even in engineering organizations, even higher ups, where I've heard at certain companies things tend to get political. In my org, even in higher ups at VP level, SVP level, from whatever I gather, it's very transparent, and it's very there's an atmosphere of trust, and people will trust you to get it done. And once they're not going to back question you. They're not going to say things about you behind your back. It's very honest, and trust is a big part of it. And I really appreciate that. But yeah, other than that, it's also good work-life balance and all that good stuff. But,
yeah. So I think something that I'm really curious about is a very sort of a big question that comes up whenever I talk about Salesforce is like, what exactly is Salesforce? I know I expect a lot of people to know this, but sometimes it's just people don't really know what Salesforce is. So how would you describe it in like one sentence? Like, what exactly is Salesforce? I know it's a cloud. That's what people like saying. It's a cloud.
It's in the sky.
It's a CRM system. But how would you describe it?
This is hard because we have our hands and legs spread in so many different directions.
Yeah.
So we are a data analytics company. We're also a CRM company. We're also a cloud company, which means we do what WordPress does. We also kind of have our own Shopify. We also have our own data analytics platform. It's a whole bunch of stuff. So, but yeah, I think data analytics has become a big part of it. CRM, customer relationship management, that was the original product. It started in 99, 2000, 20 years now. And that was the core product, which is, essentially everyone who works in sales, and I think even consulting knows what a CRM is. Just helping you managing your accounts and whatnot. And now we are big on, we acquired Tableau, so we're big on the data analytics aspect. And Tableau actually has a bunch of really cool visualizations for COVID, in case no one knows he does. Now we're also like a cloud platform, which, if you've used WordPress, so imagine like WordPress, but on fire, on like with jet engines on it, or an enterprise use case. So that and the biggest thing is like so many customizations, and like you said, that's kind of what you do, Sid. Like you build. There's so much that you can build on top of Salesforce, right? So
Exactly.
like this platform which enables you to build solutions on top of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Salesforce is so big. Sid made a career out of it.
Yeah, in some sort of way. So Manan, what's the day-to-day like being a software engineer at Salesforce? What does an average day look like for you?
Sure. I think very similar to any big tech software engineer, but obviously you have a few meetings every now and then. You'll have your stand-up, which happens 4 times a week, where you essentially 15 minutes you update what progress you've made, what blockers you have, what help you need, and so on. And then you just code for a couple of hours. And every now and then you'll have like a work group meeting, which is a bunch of people collaborating together on a feature, because there are so many different services and APIs, etc. And UI which is involved. So everybody just gets on that meeting to update. Okay, this is where the UI is. This is where the backend is. This is where this service is, and so on. Depending on whatever feature you're working on, you'll have that once a week or so. And depending on how many features you're involved in, the more features you're involved in, the more of these work group meetings you have. And then every now and then you'll have like a design meeting where maybe if you're planning to implement a new feature or some other improvement in terms of code, just a discussion around how do you go about this implementation details. This will be with your engineers and sometimes senior engineers and architects are involved. So that's that. So roughly, meeting, code, meeting again, code. That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
That's structure. So a lot less meetings for us than for you, I imagine, Sid, or even Shafuz. Yeah.
Speaking of Shafuz, I think we might have lost him, but that's a good thing. Now we can actually have a normal conversation. But yeah, so I think that's really awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And just to bring everything together as Shafuz joins back, I think just for the audience who are watching today, Salesforce, like you mentioned, it offers diverse services and they have various products. When you talk about working as a full stack engineer at Salesforce, you're actually expanding that product line, right?
Yes, essentially. I mean, you could also be working in a bunch of internal services, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, security is a big part of it. That's a huge, especially in enterprise software. our customers have like extra. I mean, we have to really go extra out of the way to make sure that our services are secure, because there's a lot of the times just sensitive data. There's $1 million deals riding on it for us, and then also in turn for our customers, right? Like Nike loses its inventory data somehow. That's $1 million in sales just gone. Even if it's gone for like an hour, that's tens of millions of dollars of sales.
Very true.
So security, making sure our services are up and running, infrastructure all around it. A lot of people work on that side, but yes, I work on the product side.
Nice. That's awesome. So I think something I'm interested in learning about is from the internship that you had at Weight Watchers, now coming into Salesforce. What was the learning curve like? Like, did you have to learn a new technology, or was it just like you just fit right in terms of coding? And also, before you start to answer, I think Shafuz is back on. I'm just going to bring him on the screen. Hey, Shafuz.
Miss me?
Not very much.
Yeah. Said I figured you don't get enough spotlight, so I thought I'd take a break. Yeah, I was being a good friend, but sorry about that. There was some technical difficulties, and I just got my camera stopped working. I don't know, so sorry about that. Totally.
That's fine.
Okay. Hey, so real quick, since we're talking about technical difficulties, is there background noise for me? Should I put headphones on, or is it okay?
I can hear you fine. I think you're good. I think it was mostly Shafuz. I think Shafuz is having all the technical difficulties today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird how life works.
But yeah, Manan, so Shafuz, just to fill you in, Manan and I were chatting about sort of the learning curves that Manan had from Weight Watchers getting into Salesforce.
So I ended up interning at Salesforce the summer after junior year. And I was really looking for a data science internship. So I'd had that product management internship and I'd loved it. And I was sure that this is something that I love and I would want to explore. But at the same time, I was getting big into data science and I've taken an AI course, and data science was like this thing I was really curious about, and I thought maybe I should look into this as well before I jump into a potential PM career, so to speak. That became my target. And then so the other thing is that if you're looking for data science internships or jobs, it's really hard to get it without a master's or a PhD. In the data science world, that becomes a big barrier to finding opportunities, because they want really qualified people, and it's a hard job.
Yeah.
But I was still trying, and I thought if I get something even related to working with other data scientists or working in AI or machine learning, that was more where software engineering was a big part of it. That was a more realistic target. And I landed Salesforce, and I landed a team where data science was a big part of it. And my project was fundamentally around machine learning, and my mentor was this incredible machine learning expert. He's like published books in machine learning. So I was very lucky to land that team. That I interviewed just for like a normal software engineering position at Salesforce. They don't tell you which team they're going to put you in. But I obviously expressed my interests, and then I landed this, and that was fantastic. So that summer I got to dabble with a lot of machine learning and neural networks and all that good stuff, and that was incredible.
Wow, that's really exciting. So I mean, just hearing that story in terms of like not really knowing what team you were working in and really landing sort of machine learning is like amazing. Like it's very hard to get into.
No, definitely, it was.
Yeah, I think one thing I was gonna say is that I've heard a lot of people trying to get into machine learning, but they're more about you have to be a PhD level or have a master's. So it's incredible how you just hustled your way and
yes. I'll make a distinction here. If you're gonna be working as a data scientist, if you want to be the person who designs an algorithm from scratch, or if you want to be the person who's designing something cutting edge or solving for a use case which hasn't been solved yet, that is really the cutting edge. Like think Tesla for the first time solving the car park with a remote, or I think they have this feature where you can call the car and it shows up, and whoever did it the first time, and working at the cutting edge of things, you definitely want that master's or PhD, or even working at a place where you are deciding the algorithms and not necessarily, I guess, as involved with the coding aspect. Like a lot of data scientists would do that. They would also code, but a bigger part of the job is simply deciding the algorithms and deciding how the data would flow and how we would use it and the visualization and all that.
Yeah.
But there's also like an ML software engineer, which is more of you are doing ML, but your job is more of data processing and implementation. And there's a lot of just engineering and coding work involved, and you're doing that. So you still get to work with the machine learning stuff, and you still get to dabble in algorithms. But I guess A, you're not cutting edge, and B, you're not always the one to decide the data and the one to decide the use case and so on. Which is obviously fair. I think to get to that level, you need a lot of experience and expertise. So, yeah,
definitely on the path of learning.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, really exciting. I think now, just to like amp up the session, we're going to jump into our favorite round, Manan. And we know you're not ready for this because it's the rapid fire round.
Okay.
It's super, super secret. So we haven't let Manan know any of the questions, but we'll just jump straight into it. So like rapid fires, just short answers, maybe 1 word, 2 words.
Sure.
But I'll get it started. So Manan, what's your favorite movie?
Oof, Harry Potter series.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Manan, dream travel destination.
Ooh, Italy, all of Italy. Specifically Florence first, but all of it.
Yeah. Wow.
I wouldn't recommend going there.
I don't think anyone's recommending going anywhere right now. But
I know, right? Do not leave your home, guys. Stay at home. Superhero power, what would it be?
Oh, flying.
Flying? So you can get to Italy?
Yeah, there you go.
Watch out for the
Or
plane.
teleportation, even better. But no, flying. I think I would love the experience of just being able to fly on my own.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Next one. Do you have a hidden skill?
Oh, hidden skill. No, I'm a big show off, so I show off all my skills, and nothing is hidden. No, not really. I don't know what to say. I think that's my answer. All my skills are in the public. Everyone knows.
Open book. That sounds good.
I should plug my YouTube channel here. I can act.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We have one question just about that coming up. What's the most productive thing you've done this lockdown?
Yeah, I honestly, it would be the YouTube channel. Yeah, that's something that came about. Weekends were suddenly free, and I was looking for a way back to get into acting, but that's something I miss. So yeah, started doing that. It's been good. Taking a break right now, but yeah.
Yeah, quick plug. Go check out Manan's YouTube channel. Manan, do you know what the handle is?
No, because YouTube, you can't have custom links, but we can share a link later. Yes, we can share
The link.
We'll put it in the comments, so make sure to check it out. Super cool, very fun, very relatable videos.
Really
make sure to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So next one. What's the best perk of working for Salesforce?
Best perk?
Yeah.
Oh, the coffee used to be great. Honestly, I miss the coffee. No, for real. Like I'm a big coffee person, and I've tried coffees. Like wherever I go, I try the local coffee.
Yeah.
Our barista had the best coffee ever. I'm not even.
Wow.
I miss that since lockdown.
So it's better than Seattle's best.
Yeah. I like Seattle coffees, and this is amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a big coffee person too, so I gotta try that out sometime, man.
Yes. If you come to Seattle, I will take you to office and get you that coffee. Yeah.
Good, sounds good.
All right, Manan. So, book or podcast recommendation?
Book or podcast recommendation? Any topic?
Any topic.
Knowledge Project by Shane Parrish. Fantastic podcast. And there's also Shane Parrish. Forget his background, but I think he was in the CIA or some big investigation agency. He's also a mathematician, I think, and now he's gotten big into mental models, which is a concept that's, I think, popularized by Charlie Munger. The general idea is that for a lot of things, you want to have just a framework for thinking, which you can repeatedly apply in a similar situation again and again. So in fact, even like something like a sunk cost fallacy is in a way a mental model. Whenever you encounter that situation, you remember that, oh, this is a thing. This is why it is. I'm act in a certain way, or trying to think of what other ones. There are several mental models from different fields, and that's kind of what Shane Parrish is big on. But yeah, the Knowledge Project is a fantastic podcast. He interviews people in different fields, and the general idea is, how do you improve your thinking? How do you improve your life?
Yeah.
So, like, for example, he recently interviewed Hannah Fry, who's a mathematician, and the topic of conversation was about algorithms and how they are impacting our daily lives, and how we can use algorithms which come from computation, computer science, and mathematics, and how they could apply to our real life. He also interviewed the creator of Billions, the show, and talked about a bunch about life and philosophy and how do you live better. So it's quite unique, but there's a general theme of how do you think better and how do you be more efficient and how do you live better. So
that's very cool.
That's awesome. All right, next one. So one YouTuber you follow.
For someone who started a YouTube channel, I don't follow a lot of people on YouTube.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. What food have you never eaten but would like to try?
Caviar.
Caviar.
Nice.
Okay. Oh, guess I haven't tried it myself either, I guess.
Yeah, call us when you're doing that, because we'd like to try it too.
Let's put something on in the next 1 year. All right. This is the last question, and this question will dictate how you're sort of like the rest of your life, to be honest. It's a big heavy one. Okay. So think carefully. So the question is, favorite co-host, Sid or Sharfuz?
Sidfus.
Sidfus?
Sidfus. Wait, what?
Both of you together, guys. It's a synergy. Wow. It's all about the synergies.
God. Sidfus, we're gonna have to play rock, paper, scissors now.
Rock. Do you rock, paper, scissors this?
Yeah, okay. I think we might have to.
Okay, on 3, okay?
All right, best of one.
Best of one, okay?
All right.
Okay. Rock,
paper, scissors, shoot.
Dude, no. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, again.
Okay,
let's go.
okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I won.
Dude, come on.
All right. Manan, do you approve of this? Do you think it was a fair game?
I think you guys should do like best of 27, but after, not right now.
After, okay.
No, we'll keep you on it.
All right, guys. This is great. Sid, we'll go back to the point again. But Manan, thanks for being such a great sport. And I know we asked like a lot of like random crazy questions, but this was really fun. So I'm just thinking about the alignment of the phone, my setup a little bit. But Manan, I think this is great for us to just sort of jump into one of the things we're most excited to talk about, is that your application process and how you sort of made your way through it, and the aspect of our main theme today, like how does iteration work and what part it plays while you're looking for a job, right? So my question is, so like overall, you mentioned a lot about how you applied to 100 jobs, and you also mentioned that it was sort of like you would not recommend. So can we like take a more like tell us a little bit more about that? Like, what was your mindset with the college application like? Did you network? Did you just apply? What was the approach overall?
Sure. So yeah, it really evolved from like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year. Because I think, every year I learned my lesson the hard way by making my own mistakes. So that's kind of what I meant. Like sophomore year, I applied to more than 100 places, and I kept getting these automatic rejection emails.
Yeah.
And my mentality was that the more places I apply to, I'll hopefully land somewhere. And that is great. Like you should give it everything you've got and go for it and try as hard as you can. But that said, the reason I said I wouldn't do that again and I didn't do that junior year is because that is inefficient, and it does take a lot of work to apply to all those places. You find the openings, you have to then tailor your resume, sometimes answer questions, sometimes give a cover letter, and so on. And a much better way I find is just if you know someone. And if you don't know someone, then build relationships. If you don't know someone, then reach out to alumni. sure, you're not at Columbia University and you don't have the best employers coming at your door, but you have to make the most of wherever you are, right? Whether it's Rochester, whether it's India, whether it's wherever in the world, in whatever position you are, leverage alumni network. That's one thing you can do. Just cold reach out, and that's something I started doing later on in junior year. Just send out cold emails. And alumni has a much better, it's more streamlined. They have a much better chance of responding, right? Because they're the same school, there's a connect. People are generally helpful. They want to pay it forward. So alumni, and then even like I started following people on Twitter who were in the industry, who were just early into their careers, and those are, again, like if you're a college student, someone who's early in their career, 1 or 2 years into a job, is more likely to respond than someone who's been in the industry for 10-15 years, probably a VP somewhere. So reach out to those people. Just cold email. It's difficult to find. Do your LinkedIn, Twitter, social investigation, and you still can't find it. Some people say there's a way to guess. I never got into that. That's like too much work. But yeah, try to find their emails or message them on Twitter. Sometimes people are just open on Twitter, and or try to find mutual connections, friends of friends, and that's just a much better way of doing it. So yeah, I think I realized that, and in fact, in my summer in New York, I tried to make the most of that time and went out to meetups and tried to meet people and actually build those relationships. And at that time, the objective was not that this person will get me an internship or anything.
Yeah.
Let's build the relationships, because I'm getting into this industry, and relationships are everything. Right? So yeah. So, question, I lost track.
Yeah. Sid, you're gonna say something?
I was gonna say that that's like really, really awesome advice. I think, especially the last part that Manan mentioned that really resonated with me was about, don't just go there for the job application or for referral or for some lad. Go there for the purpose of just meeting them, like learning about them, because you're going to be in the same industry eventually. That's your goal. Try and keep it more conversational, keep it friendly. Don't just go there with the sole purpose of like, oh yeah, you can get me a job at this company.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back, I think the question that Sharfuz asked was, what was your approach for these job applications? So I think you did answer it pretty significantly.
Yeah.
I think something that I'm curious about is what Salesforce, I know you went on a lot of coffee chats and stuff. So how exactly did that work out for you?
Sorry, coming in?
For Salesforce, how did you manage to land the job at Salesforce? Did you go on networking events and stuff like that?
No, that was interesting. So one of my friends had interned at a company that was acquired by Salesforce. Mm-hmm. When he had interned, the company was not acquired yet, but they got acquired just after that. And then I reached out to him to just give me a recruiter email. Yeah, that's another big one. Get recruiter emails. I think recruiter emails are often easier to get, and just cold reach out. That's what I did. I cold reached out to this recruiter and I got the email from a friend. No introduction, no context, nothing. I just said, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I know you might be looking, and this is my profile. Would love to have a chat. No response for a week. Sent a follow-up. Hey, just wondering if you saw the email. No response for another week. Sent a follow-up. Hey, just wondering, here's my resume again, blah, blah. No response for another week. Fourth email. So 4 weeks, 4 emails. I was diligent. I was tracking this somewhere. Every week I'm sending this one reminder if they don't respond. I think eventually I would have stopped, but I kept going, and at least until 4th email she responded. And she said, yes, let's give you a call. No, she said, let me redirect. We are not hiring, but Salesforce is hiring. Like, I think they were getting acquired. So at that time, the status was like a parent company kind of thing. Yeah. Like Salesforce was a parent company. So then she redirected me to the Salesforce recruiter. And then he set up a call. And then we had the initial call. Then I had a phone screen. And then I had another technical phone screen. Then they flew me out to San Francisco. This is January of 2017 for the in-person interviews. Which can be daunting, but once I got into it, I was like, I got this. It was like a couple of hours of in-person interviews, and then they take you out to lunch at a fancy restaurant, which is great. So
that's a good meal. That's another perk for Salesforce.
Sorry?
That's another perk for interviewing at Salesforce. You get a fancy meal.
Yes, and I mean, and they pay for everything, right? You get a trip to San Francisco from Rochester, and like you get to stay at a decent hotel, and you can like first half of the day is interviews, and then you're free to do whatever you want. So.
That's yeah, no, that's really awesome to hear, and I love how you were just persistently like just emailing it with the cold email. Quick short question, and I think this could be valuable. When you're doing this cold email approach, at which point do you stop? Because you went with 4 emails. Would you have stopped after the 4th email, or would you have? Because at some point it's just annoying.
So,
right?
That's fair. No, that's absolutely valid. And I don't think I have a good answer to that. I think like 4 sounds okay to me. But would I have gone till 8, 10, 20? I don't know. Probably not 20, but I'm not sure if I can answer that. I think, I don't know. I think maybe I would have stopped after that. Maybe I would have said, okay, just one more and that's it. I don't know what a good threshold is, but the general point is send out the cold email, keep following up.
So do you have
I would expand onto that. I would say if one person doesn't respond, there's like 15 other recruiters. Just find another email and do another 4 emails.
Let's have a consensus that 4 is the magic number.
Right? I'm sure. Yeah, I can look at
that.
Cool. Okay, so my next one that I'm curious about, Manan, is overall, like, what was the hardest part of the job process for you? Like 2 or 3 hardest things.
I think sophomore year, it was dealing with the rejection. That's when I applied to 100 places.
Yeah.
And we're already in March, and all I've gotten is either no response or rejection. And I'm looking at that Excel sheet, and I just feel like giving up. This is too hard. And I think just pushing through that sophomore year was hard. I think eventually, this is one of those first experiences you have to have, and then you just realize this is part of it. I think now I would handle rejection a lot better from a job, but at that time it was it felt like this is not going to happen, and it did crush me for a bit. But I think that's something you have to go through and learn that that's part of the process, and it happens, and you eventually land somewhere. And I learned that my sophomore year. So that was one hard thing. Other than that, nothing really comes to mind. It's all equally difficult or easy the way you approach it. Technical interview preparation is hard. Applying to all these places is hard. You have to put an effort everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really loved what you said, man. I think you at the end of the day you have to put in the work, but I think just getting used to being rejected from all these job applications is something that we all need to go through, so we feel much better about it, right? And the earlier you do it in your career, the better you prepared you are. So I think it's a really good takeaway for any other college students and anyone tuning in who are more earlier into the career. That's great.
In fact, I know you had Rhythm on this as well, and he talked about this. I remember that, and he definitely had his share, and he pushed through, and
Rhythm. He was another guest. For sure. I think. So I think Manan. I think. So, for sure, man. I guess just to are you good now? Just want to make sure.
I think all our laptops are dying, Shafuz. Look at what you've done. Speaking of technical difficulties.
Suddenly my laptop is like sort of rejected my camera and is like, oh, we don't recognize your webcam anymore. I'm like, dude, come on. It rejected the webcam. That's what happened. There are all rejections going around. But Manan, bringing it all together, man. So what does this idea of iterating your way to getting your successful or your dream job, what does this aspect really mean? And why is this something that we should incorporate in our lives?
So, for the uninitiated, iteration is this, I think the term comes from computer science, but generally the idea is that you keep trying, right? And you try a bunch of things, and you get feedback, and you try and you do something and you get feedback, and then you see, okay, this works, this doesn't work, and then you change your approach a bit based on that feedback, and then you keep going again. And then ultimately you sort of iterate your way through the end goal, or whatever that is. In computer science, this comes from because you loop over things and you perform an operation, and then you ultimately reach your result. So the idea of iteration through your career, I think, if I talk about where I am now versus where I was as a sophomore or a freshman, as a sophomore, like I said, I applied to more than 100 places. And at that time, had you offered me a PM job, which I wasn't even clear what that was, or a data analyst job, or a backend engineer job, or a node engineer job, or a UI developer job, I would have said yes to it. I said, yeah, sure. I want to do that. Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Now I'll probably say no to 90% of those. And even within the job I want, I'll be a lot more selective about what kind of company I want to be at, what kind of work culture I like, what I don't like.
Yeah.
And that's really what this process of iteration over the years has been, right? Like initially you're at a point, I was at a point where I didn't know both enough about the industry and enough about myself.
Yeah.
I didn't know enough about, okay, what aspects do I like, what I don't like, and I didn't know enough about what a PM does, what a backend engineer does, what a front-end engineer does, what a data scientist does. So through all these experiences, I think the goal was, okay, let me try this thing that I'm curious about. Let me also try that other thing that I'm curious about. Tried the data science internship, with the PM internship, with the normal backend engineering internship. And then there are both a small company, a big company, and even talked to enough startups. I don't think I've worked full-time in a startup yet, but I spoke to enough people. And all of that, I think I was intentional about just being aware and asking myself the right questions. Like, what do I like? What do I don't like about this? And you have to keep doing that. And then now I'm at a place where, I think I will be looking for a change at some time in the future. But now I have a much clearer idea of what I'm looking for. And it's not the thing, right? I don't think I've zeroed down yet. And I think I would still take more years to achieve. But in comparison, if my vision of what I could go for was here, now it's like this much. It's narrowed quite a bit. And that's hugely valuable, right? Then your search is so much more streamlined. You'll be a lot happier at where you end up because you've arrived at it through a process of elimination, in a sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. That was golden. Love that.
Yeah.
Thinking like a true product manager by heart, just like iteration and like just eliminating it. And just, I think it's ultimately it's all about iterating and getting feedback and being better, right?
Yeah.
Very, very true.
And I think I would add, you would even do that at your current job. Like you could try. Like you could, like I've had opportunities at Salesforce to lead work groups and to talk to PMs and do something on the side for them and so on. So I've been able to dabble and learn even more at my current job as well. So,
yeah.
Very interesting. So Manan, I'd like to hear from you. What advice would you have for people right now, especially international students and also just students in general who are sort of undergoing this phase of internship cancellations, full-time job offers being rescinded, and all these people being impacted by COVID? What would be your top recommendation for them in terms of job applications and making the most of their time?
Super easy question. No, I mean, it's really hard, man, what's happening right now, especially with international students.
Yeah.
With all the restrictions with the current economy, like even with full-time workers, I've seen so many LinkedIn posts of people who are on H-1B who've been laid off, and you just have 60 days to get a new job. So it's rough, and I don't think I have all the answers. These are questions I'm asking myself as well. But I think just hang in there and figure out what you can do best right now. If you are in need of a job, then do everything to get that job and secure your position. Or if that means going back to your home country and if you're okay with that, do that, whatever that means for you. But if you are in a position where maybe you were looking for a change, or maybe if you're a student and you're not in the job market yet, but you will be a year from now, then just do your best to prepare and learn and grow. This reading and upskilling is something you can do sitting inside without waiting for anyone to hand something to you. So do that. I think that's something you can do. Even when the world is, is upside down. But yes.
Yeah, I think that's really valuable. And I think more than that, just things you mentioned throughout the session about sort of being persistent with those cold emails, like send the fourth email, reach out to people, network. I think now more than ever, people are very, very open to having conversations. People are happy to jump on a Zoom call. People are working from home, so they're a lot more comfortable and have a lot more time in their hands. So definitely make the most of those networking opportunities as well. So I think there's huge things to learn for people tuning in today. So thanks so much for sharing this, Manan. I think it's really, really helpful for people out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was really great. So Sid, are we closing the curtains for the day?
Yep, curtains are being closed. So I'm gonna bring up the outro and quickly just navigate people. Manan has his LinkedIn up here. You can scan this QR code and get to his LinkedIn profile. Make sure to follow him there. We also mentioned about his YouTube channel. Make sure to check it out. We'll leave a link in the comments, so you'll be able to see that just in a little bit. And anything to add, Shafuz?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that, Manan, this was amazing. I really love some of the things that you said, and there was so much your experience with Weight Watchers, your experience with just iterating towards just how you got the job at Salesforce. I think that was really great, dude, and I think there's so much to learn from all of it. And I know we usually promise 45 minutes. This is more over an hour, and that shows how much we enjoyed the conversation today, Manan. But thank you so much just for your time today and just being a part of this and sharing all your story, man. Do you have any remarks, Manan, overall thoughts you want to leave our audiences and our guests with? Like any last remarks?
No, I think we've covered everything with your questions. But yeah, just hang in there, focus on growth, and follow your your curiosities and yeah, all the other stuff. I think we covered with your amazing questions. This was great and really fun questions. So thanks, guys. This was fun for me as well. Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Manan. We appreciate you. All right, so thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure to check out Careers Uncorked. We'll have a recorded version of this session available on our website and on our YouTube channel. And we'll catch you guys next Saturday. Thanks again, Manan, for being here. And
thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and consider subscribing to receive a notification next time we post. Catch you next time.
Wow.
Okay. Like this?
My God.
Oh.
My God.